is this, that we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty. I don't know what part of that we don't get anymore. That was written by men who cared about this country deeply.
Financial Issues with Dan Celia.
AFR Talk, Financial Issues, 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. Listen, before I forget, I want to remind you of something incredibly important. More important than anything else that we've been talking about was ultimately you and I know how this story ends. We've got a sovereign God that we rely on, and we've got Christmas coming up. And, you know, have you thought about having an impact not only on people for their eternal life, but for their life here on earth? And we have partnered, American Family Association has partnered with Gospel for Asia. Now, you know this. We've done this for many Christmases. And you have an opportunity to impact impoverished families in Asia by giving them a gift of a very unique gift of something like goats or chickens or something that can impact their family and their community. And it is an incredible, my wife and I do it every year. We haven't done it yet this year, but we'll do it. As a matter of fact, I tried to do it yesterday, and I think the web site was down. But we do it every year. We usually give goats. And check it out, please, because it's an incredible gift. If, you know, my wife and I haven't given each other Christmas gifts now for we've been married 32 years, so I'm going to say 25 years. We just don't do Christmas gifts. And there were a lot of lean years when we could, you know, just do what we could do for the kids. But, you know, we try to do something like this, you know, for a family. And that's kind of our Christmas gift to each other. But check it out. Go to afr.net. And you'll see the very first banner that comes up is Gospel for Asia. And click on that, afr.net, and you can give an incredible gift that is going to have an impact, whether it's Bibles, water filters, sewing machine, chickens, pigs, goats. There's so much opportunity to give a lot or a very little that is going to have an impact for life. And the gospel will be shared. And they'll know that this is coming from a servant of Jesus Christ. So we'll hope you'll do that. You can call, by the way, 877-907-GOAT, 877-907-GOAT, or 907-4628, 877-907-4628. And I hope you'll participate with us at AFA and AFR. We sure would appreciate it. Let me go back to the phones, 888-589-8840. We've got John from Florida. Hey, John.
Grace and peace from our Lord Jesus Christ.
Thank you, John.
I was wondering why they all the time talking about, well, I wasn't wondering about that, but I want to know why we can't tax the people that don't create jobs. In other words, the people that, the millionaires that have companies and the billionaires that don't have companies. The billionaires that don't have companies, it wouldn't hurt them to be taxed.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct?
Well, I think that's exactly what President Obama is proposing, right? That he's going to tax those billionaires at a much higher rate.
No, it's the ones that create jobs. That's the ones he's taxing.
So you want to penalize those that aren't creating jobs, I guess is what you're
Right.
saying, right?
I want to
Okay.
tax them. I want to tax them
Tax. Well,
instead of
I
taxing
mean,
the ones that create jobs.
I think that I don't know. I think that would be very hard to do, particularly how do you do that? Penalize somebody for not creating jobs. There's a lot of people right now not creating jobs when there's no demand for the goods or services that they might produce.
You take Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, for instance, he makes money off of buying securities from banks, buying loans, in other words, and he don't pay a penny tax on them securities. He should be taxed on them securities, and the bank should be taxed for giving out, for selling them. Anytime you sell or buy something, they usually get taxed, not selling, but buying.
Yeah.
Whenever you buy something,
right.
you
Well,
should get taxed, but he don't pay a penny on them.
yeah, I think I know what you're saying, and I don't necessarily disagree with you. I mean, but I think what you're saying is that kind of penalty is going to disincentivize organizations, individuals from doing anything. And I think that the last thing we need in our economy is anything that's going to disincentivize growth. I think I said a minute ago I don't disagree with you. I guess I do disagree with you because you can't tax people for not creating jobs or for investing. You can't penalize them if they're not doing it because the economy is bad and there is no demand. I would never. I mean, if I were a millionaire or billionaire or whatever, the last thing I'd want to do right now is spend my money in creating a business where I'm, I don't know, selling cars or building cars or making some kind of goods for people to buy. That's the last thing I want to do because nobody's buying them. There's no demand. So it's a very, you can't really do that because you're going to disincentivize people even more, which is going to lower the demand even more because more and more people are going to be out of work. So there's a fine line there, John. I mean, I see what you're getting at, but I don't think we can do that. I think we have to do just the opposite. I think we've got to tell those people, instead of trying to tax them to pay the bills, I think we got to tell those people that we're not going to tax you, feel free to spend your money. And if we do that, they're going to spend their money into the economy. They're going to create jobs. They're going to start businesses. They're going to expand businesses. They're going to grow companies. And that is going to kickstart the economy because they're going to put money back into the economy. So I think you got to do just the opposite if you want the economy to get better. If you want to get more of a socialized Marxist government, then yes, tax them to death. And there won't be any growth because the government will be responsible for any kind of growth or jobs. Let me go to Curtis in Texas. Hey, Curtis.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I just had a couple of questions, comments, and I'll hang up and listen to your comments. First off, on all the cuts that we hear about, it's cut Social Security, cut pensions, cut military, cut the people. My question is, do you know by chance how much money per year is sent out in foreign aid? And my opinion on that is we need to cut it all. I mean, I'm not against charity. I'm not against helping your fellow man. But if you're bankrupt and you can't afford to, you need to worry about your own country first. And then when you're in the black and can afford to start helping other countries and helping, then do it. But that's one thing I was just curious about, how many billions of dollars is sent out in foreign aid. And then my second question is, one solution would maybe is, what if you put a 1% like national sales tax on everything, whether it be food, dry goods, anything that is bought, put a small tax on it, maybe start at 1%. And my reasoning behind that is that way all the millions and millions of illegals that's in this country working for cash, buying things, they would be contributing, paying their some share of a tax. All the freeloaders, everybody would pay something that way. So anyway, that's my two questions.
Great stuff, Curtis. I don't have a problem with either one of those, by the way. A national sales tax, I think we will see a VAT tax, a value-added tax. I think that is being kicked around right now as we speak. I think that we are going to see proposals for that by summer, and I think that that is a very likely scenario. A national sales tax is probably less likely than a VAT tax, which is similar to a national sales tax, but it's not going to show up on every sales receipt when you buy things. So I think politically speaking, that's probably a better alternative for politicians. But I think we're going to see something like that. There has to be, and we will come to that. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see proposals hit the floor of the House of Representatives this summer or sooner on something like that. As far as the billions of dollars, and by the way, I don't know the exact number. I know it's over $200 billion. I know that in my opinion, I agree with you. I don't believe it's got to stop all the way across the board, but I believe that I don't want $30 billion going to Pakistan anymore. Now, I don't, I understand the laydown area that we have for the war in Afghanistan, and that we need somewhat Pakistan. They hate us. They're always going to hate us, and I don't want to give them $30 billion. We put the Muslim Brotherhood in power. We don't need to send them our next $33 billion check that we're about to send them. Cut them off. They got what they wanted. They got power. We helped them get there, which we shouldn't have done. We're not giving them any money. As a matter of fact, I would say to Iran, since you are attempting to become a democracy, we now want to be paid back for the war in oil. Of course, we wouldn't do that. But I do believe that there are countries that don't hate us. There are countries that have come alongside us. And there's not a lot of them. I mean, Great Britain, Australia, Poland. I mean, there's not a lot. But there are a few countries that have been with us in lockstep on all these wars and everything that we've done. If they have needs and we can help, that's fine. If we have needs and they can help, that would be great. I think that there are starving people around this world that we should help. I think that there are countries in Africa and India that if we can step in and give aid directly to those people and have an organization by which we do that, I'm all for that, and I don't have a problem with that. But aside from that, I think it all ought to stop, and we'll save billions and billions of dollars. Let's take that money and put it directly against our debt. So I don't have a problem with that. Great call. 888-589-8840. 888-589-8840. Let's go to break, and then when we get back, we got Jackie from Richmond, Virginia. We got Raymond from Texas. We've got a couple lines open. 888-589-8840. And I was just reminded that I got to run and catch a plane. Fred Jackson's coming in and giving us some news. So I appreciate Fred for that. And we'll be back tomorrow, though. I'll be here. I want to thank everybody for being with us. And we've got news. Fred Jackson coming up right after this break. Hi, this is Dan Celia at Financial Issues. Would you consider partnering with me? For $85 a year, you're going to get some great information on stock picks, alert system that'll alert you to buys and sells. What a great way to look at a portfolio from a biblical perspective for a small amount of money each month. Not only that, it goes to support the ministry here at Financial Issues, financialissues.org.
Each year, federal employees have the opportunity to designate charitable donations through the combined federal campaign. Many organizations may be deserving of your money, but only a handful can say that part of their mission is to stand firm for biblical family values. As you choose your charity, please consider the American Family Association, CFC number 12037. Standing firm with your family for more than 30 years, continuing for the generation to come. Stand with the AFA by designating number 12037.
Hi, this is Dan Celia for the American Family Association. Listen, it's getting so hard to be a good and effective steward of what God has given us. But listen, how about creating a permanent income for life and doing kingdom work at the same time? You can do that through an American Family Association.